Another artist that put out an album earlier this year was Paul McCartney, one of my biggest heroes. And very back end of 2020, he somewhat unexpectedly put out McCartney 3, which I'm still enjoying now. I think it still holds up quite well. Really interesting album. And then a few months after that, we had an album called McCartney 3 Imagined. Obviously a play on words, 3 imagined, reimagined. And it was basically an album of remixes and cover versions of songs from McCartney 3. Now, I haven't bought this album because I listened to all the samples of all the songs and there was just nothing that grabbed me. I found some of the songs a little bit on the unlistenable side, to be honest. So it's not my thing. I thought it was a good concept. It's a good idea, but it's just, musically, it's not my thing. So that was Paul's sort of predominant activity this year. He got up to a few other bits and pieces as well. Later in the year, of course, he released his lyrics book, two big volumes full of Paul's lyrics and him discussing the songs. So that was all very interesting. And this year, I'm not sure that we've got another Paul McCartney album in the works, but there are a few whispers that he might be going out on tour, and it'd be interesting to see if any of the stuff from McCartney 3 makes it into the set if he does go out on tour. There is a whisper that he is going to do Glastonbury because he was supposed to have played Glastonbury in 2020, but then of course the pandemic hit and messed up all the plans. So he might be playing Glastonbury, which would be a celebration of his 80th birthday. Would you believe he's 80 this year? And he's still writing songs, he's still making music. It's so good to see that Paul is as interested in making music now as he ever was. The other thing that could happen this year with Paul is the release of another archive collection reissue. Now, Paul's archive collection has been running since 2010. He's been releasing generally 1 or 2 albums as part of this archive series each year. Last year we didn't get one because the market was kind of flooded by other Beatles releases. But this year I suspect we will probably get London Town and Back to the Egg. A little word about these archive collection releases because I've not mentioned them in my previous videos. These are massively expanded editions of Paul's albums. We've had Bound on the Run, we've had Ram, we've had McCartney and McCartney 2, we've had Venus and Mars, we've had, I think actually most of Paul's post-Beatles albums up to Flaming Pie have now had the archive treatment, and they make such a good job of these box sets. They really and very obviously put the effort into presenting these releases in the best way possible, and not only that, they remaster them and they all sound as good as they've ever sounded to my ears. It really is an impressive series, and it has deservedly won awards for its presentation. London Town and Back to the Egg are the only 2 Wings albums remaining in the series to release as archive sets. So it would seem that they are the most likely archive releases to come next. There are 2 other albums, solo albums that could well have archive sets released, and they are Press to Play and Off the Ground. I love Off the Ground. It's a hugely underrated album in my book, one of my favourites. But both would make really interesting archive sets. But if you want to know all the details of Paul's releases and Paul's activities, I would highly recommend Andrew Dixon's channel. He is the expert on Paul McCartney. What he doesn't know about what Paul McCartney does ain't worth knowing. So go and check out his channel. I highly recommend it if you're interested in learning more about Paul McCartney and his work.